no lawsuits. Lawyers are not happy, but it's saving money that way because you don't have to be, you just move. Children are getting much more benefit from the programs that they're in than they were in the public school. They're less abused by their peers and less abused by others. They're less threatened in the private sector than they were in the public sector. The parent satisfaction in the private sector in the McKay program is better than 93%. In the public sector, it's less than a third. So you're getting parents who are making a choice for their child, committed to their child, being able to then have the accountability of the school directly to them. You're saving taxpayers money. You're saving the public school, allowing them to use their resources for children that they can help. There are a lot of people satisfied. Spend that money on the ones that you're able to do something about. And as I say, the taxpayers are winning too. Everyone wins, but more importantly, the child wins. The child gets what they need. And that's what the whole program should be about. And I think if we all work together and said, let's quit worrying about turf, let's quit worrying about power, let's start worrying about the child, you could not have opposition to parent choice. And I come from a long background. I am dyslexic myself with attention deficit disorders. And so I know what you have to go through when you're in public schools and in private schools to try to compete with people who don't have a barrier. So let's think about today, how do we change things so that children benefit, not systems?
David Thomas with Logo School. I've had a chance to visit with most of you beforehand and recognize many of your faces as far as colleagues and other professional meetings that we've had a chance to participate in. Let me give you a brief overview of Logos and why Danielle asked us to be able to participate in this program. I think the first thing that I would point out by saying is that we believe that all children can succeed. And if you were to pull up to our school right now, you're going to see a banner on the outside indicating that. Now that cuts across all segments, if you will. We feel very strongly that the individuals can succeed. We maintain a 1-to-6 ratio in the classroom. We maintain one professional for every 3 students on campus. We are serving individuals with behaviorally challenged. It is some type of mental illness with a disconnect. It can be severe ADHD, it can be bipolar, it can be schizophrenic, it can be oppositional defiant, it can be impulsive compulsive. We have 15 licensed therapists on staff. Key factor as far as how are we structured and how do we fit in with, if you will, alternate sources of funding. Logos is a 501c3 not-for-profit. So we're a 501c3, a standalone. We work with St. Louis City Public Schools. We work with Special School District. We work with school districts in St. Charles, Crawford County, Jefferson County, Lincoln County, Warren County, and we're also now working with about 9 to 10 school districts in Illinois. In order to be qualified to be a purchase of service, and that's an acronym that probably we'll be referring to as far as POS, purchase of service. That means that you have to be approved by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Annually now, they do checks, evaluations on your program and your staff. We look at it as the handout that we have shared with you is it's a partnership between us and the school districts. Dr. Speckhardt, I don't believe is here yet. Dr. Borsall, we work very closely with the two of them. Certainly want to acknowledge Anna Munson, the financial officer for special ed. 4 or 5 years ago, that was a nightmare as far as from a POS standpoint, being able to get reimbursed, and that is no longer an issue at all. The program that we have, I like to refer to as a three-legged stool: academics, therapeutic, mandatory parental involvement. We develop an individualized academic plan for each student that comes to Logos. We develop an individual therapeutic plan for each student. Parents are required to take part in weekly parent support meetings. We have 13 different time slots during the week to make that convenient. It is facilitated by a licensed therapist. That licensed therapist is not there to teach them how to parent, but to help them be able to share their experiences that they're encountering as a parent, and to find out that there are many other parents in similar situations. Again, let me point out is that the relationship that we have is through the purchase of service. We believe in working in partnership with the school districts. If a school district is referring a student to us, that means they're going to have an individualized education plan, an IEP. That means those IEPs are going to be reviewed annually. Each of those is going to have specific academic and specific therapeutic goals. The model that we're using at Logos, I'm in my 14th year, will soon be starting my 14th year. We're a year-round program. We meet 6 times a year, is what we call term review, where all 40 of our professional staff process each of the 160 students that we have, reviewing for that 8-week period, did they meet their academic goals that had been set individually? Did they meet their therapeutic goals that had been set individually? Being able to chart that, to be able to follow that. Since about August 24, 07, I may not have the exact date, but whenever school started back in August, we have had 12 students out of St. Louis City that have completed their high school diploma. And most of those are in post-high school training today. Last year, we graduated 33 students.